So, guys, we'll move on over to the tight ends. Zach Ertz finished tight end 4 last year, had 88 receptions, 135 targets, had a 22% target share, 916 yards, 6 touchdowns. Your thoughts around Zach Ertz?
I have no problem with Zach Ertz. I believe that he is still a top 4 tight end in this league. I am just not unless the scoring absolutely mandates that I have to take a tight end early, I refuse to take a tight end early. So I won't have many, if any, shares of Zach Ertz, just of how my typical draft strategy is. It's not that he's a bad player. I think he still has plenty left in the tank to be able to lead the Eagles in receptions and touchdowns this upcoming season is possible. I don't know if it's going to happen with all the different options that they have, but it's possible. So I like the guy. He's a top 4 tight end. He's going inside of, the top 5 or 6 rounds of your draft, depending on kind of how all that's falling out to get those guys. But I'm much happier going other places in my first 5 or 6 rounds of the draft, and then waiting until later to pick up a Hayden Hurst, a Blake Jarwin, a Jonnu Smith, and Ian Thomas. I'm perfectly happy with those guys late in a draft and worrying about filling in my wide receiver and running back positions with my first 6 picks.
So I think we've developed kind of this system about tight ends over the course of this podcast, is that we have the top tier, and then there's kind of that middle tier, and then there's everybody else, right? That's how we've kind of decided that tight ends should go. That top tier are guys that are probably going to go in the first 4 or 5 rounds. And then there's kind of that second tier where you'll start to see when people start snatching up tight ends, then you start to look at, the guy that you kind of want to make sure you don't miss out on. And then there's everybody else. Zach Ertz is definitely in that top tier, has cemented himself in that top tier. And until we see a season differently, he is going to be in that top tier. So to me, I will always overpick. I'll reach for Zach Ertz because of what he's proven to me. And he can win you some weeks because those tight end points, they can be very beneficial, especially the usage that he gets. He's getting wide receiver usage most weeks. So I will still I will draft Zach Ertz early. I will pick him up in the 4th or 5th round, depending on how your draft is going, 6th round, if you start seeing tight ends fly off the board. So I am a Zach Ertz believer. I have been for years, and you guys will know this, that when people draft Zach Ertz before I'm ready to make that selection, I get very upset about it. So that's where I'm at. I'm not to be trusted talking about this team because I have rose-colored glasses on, all right? Let's just be real.
I'm not that huge on Zach Ertz or the tight end position, taking it early and where you need to. So that's, again, one of those that I'm going to go back to some of my older strategies where I wait on tight end and start looking around, rounds 10, 11, somewhere in there to start drafting my tight ends.